Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
So good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Sup, Chuddle Club members? Welcome to an episode of Chuddle the Pod, where horror movie lovers have a feel-good time. In this episode,
Go Gators!
we are going to Chuddle Crawl. Not only that, we're going to keep it spoiler-free in the beginning, and then we'll get into spoilers later. I am joined tonight by my good friends and associates, people of the pod, fellow Chuddlemen. We got Brian.
I'm here. I'm here to say hi.
And Roos.
Nice.
I don't like that one.
Oh, hey.
It's got to fit on a bag in that and format.
And, yeah. Hey, Sam, how are you doing?
I am doing very well, Roos. Poos, how about you? Coos.
Good.
Excellent. Thanks for asking me how I was doing. Yeah, Gator, Hurricane Gator. Let's get after it. But before we get after it, let's take this moment to thank our coven of patrons. Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank your beautiful souls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patrons get bonus episodes where we cover non-horror movies, mailbags, creepypasta, gnarly history, and Chuddle battles, among other things. You also get Discord, special Discord access, and
Voting rights.
That too, thank you.
Control the show.
Now, with all club
Control
members
our show.
present and the coven avowed, it's time to crack open that goo book and officially begin tonight's meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh, yeah.
Let's do some lines.
Yeah, Ross's
Starting with our long
favorite.
line.
Oh.
Oh, what? You guys don't like jokes all of a sudden? A
Anti-joke.
young woman, while attempting to save her father during a Category 5 hurricane, finds herself trapped in a flooding house and must fight for her life against alligators.
That is it.
Pretty much nails it.
Yeah. That's nails it.
Taglines, we got a couple. They were here first.
Okay.
Don't love it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Danger. Alligators are common in this area. They can be dangerous. They have been known to stalk prey. They will hunt you. They will hunt you is all in caps.
Oh. That seems like a...
That seems
I've
like...
never seen that sign before.
I feel...
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, unless it's on the poster in a yellow warning sign somewhere on the poster. Like,
Yeah. It's like a please don't feed or molest gators. I've seen that sign plenty.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Yes.
It tickles me.
Well, hopefully not the gators.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. Because, it doesn't say not to tickle them. It just says don't molest them. I don't know. Now we're getting a tricky category that we'll keep moving. If the storm doesn't get you, ... they will. Okay,
I
at
like
least
that
it
one.
kind of, speaks to the movie.
Yes.
Swim like hell, fine.
Okay. Yeah,
Watch your
yeah.
back.
My
Not
God,
so
there's
great.
so many.
I think the best one is that if the storm doesn't get you, they will. But again, none of them are.
None of them are great, but that's the best out of the bunch.
Okay, movies are made by people, and the people that made this movie are. We got writers Michael and Sean Rasmussen.
Mm-hmm.
Rasputin.
Director Alexandre Aja. Stars Kaya Scodelario as Haley, Barry Pepper as Dave. And you know what? That's all we need. There's some other people in it, but it's pretty much just these two.
So as Sugar.
You got somebody you want to shout out?
CSO, So I think is their name. That's Sugar, the dog.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
How's your dog? So.
so.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sugar definitely deserves a shout out. So.
Shout.
So I don't really know the actors from other stuff. They've done a ton of other things. I'm just not familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
And Alexandra Aja,
He's done.
High Tension, Hills Have Eyes remake, among other things. But those are the only two I've seen aside from this one.
Fatality.
Scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the Sadness. How gory is this movie? Intensity, consistency, smush 'em.
Smush them and push them.
Smush it, push it.
Sorry, that tickled me.
Like, ooh. That was good.
I'm gonna give it like a 4.5 because I feel like it's so. I would go 1.5 for consistency and a 3 for intensity.
Sure, that makes sense. Maybe, yeah. There's a lot of biting.
I think
but but the blood is kind of like
there's tearing
in the water,
it's in the water.
It like
That's
kind of dilutes it a little.
Yes, it diffuses it. Yeah. Because I mean, we do get a full body dismemberment by biting, but because it's in water, I feel like it buffers a lot of the gore and the violence because there's a lot of thrashing,
water buffer,
and a lot of like, that old water filter.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think like I bet between a 4 and a 5.
I'm right there with you, Sam.
All right. Who? Oops.
Nailed it. Who?
Oops. Oops.
Who is the horror forward?
Starting with the subgenres, what is the subgenre? Animal attack, creature feature, survival, disaster,
creature feature,
animal.
Survival, nature bites back, a disaster movie.
Estranged father-daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peace.
A family drama.
What kind of environment is best to watch this in? Hurricane Party.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Hurricane Party would be a fantastic watch for this.
But other than that, it's a fun movie. It's a fun environment. It's it's an animal attack. It's gators attacking during a hurricane.
Yeah.
Like it's a not too serious.
Yeah, I would say with friends. The first time watching this, I did watch it alone, which I thought was okay. But I feel if I had watched this with a group of people, I think some of the attack scenes would have been a little more like ooh, oh, and not like meh.
Is it for beginners?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not. I'd say.
I'd say this feels like a perfect, like if you're 13 and want to watch, like this is rated R, I would just more than assume. Want to watch something that might I think that'd be. Oh, this is like almost perfect for like that sleepover, like rollicking good time.
Absolutely. I think a lot of like the nature bites back movies are really good beginner movies because they're not like they're non sequiturs. You know what I mean? Where it's like this movie just exists. You know what I mean? Like you don't really have to have a backup that like it's, alligators can attack people is the only kind of thing you need to know before getting into this.
Sure, easy to get into, easy to digest.
Yeah.
Should you know anything going into it?
No, I don't think there's anything necessary for this one.
No.
Animal attack, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the subgenres we mentioned, but yeah. And I hear some fat boy, but I'm not sure what's going on over there.
He's loud. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Chuddle Harbinger do coming over here with a trigger warnings. Mothman, got anything?
I will say animal death if you're opposed to seeing alligators getting it, but like, because that's gonna happen.
Some reptile death.
Is there any other like huge? I don't think.
Nothing that I can.
Again, I mean, if you do have some like divorce trauma.
Divorce trauma. I mean, I guess if you do have not a fear of water, but this does have a lot of murky water scenes in it.
Yeah, or gators or hurricanes.
Or like if you've been in a hurricane.
But I mean, that's sort of classic, what the movie is about.
Sure.
I guess you should know that going into it because that'll tell you whether or not it's for you or not. That's for true. You. Hurricane Gator.
Hurricane Gator.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do it.
Spoiler zone.
Starting with the IMDb behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Early in the movie, we see Dave's truck, the dad's truck, outside the garage. And on the license plate, it says Matt 725. Matthew 725 in the Bible reads, "The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house, yet it did not fall because it had the foundation on the rock." Just a little thing. Of the movies released in 2019, Quentin Tarantino selected this as his favorite.
Interesting.
So I Googled this.
Yeah.
And in an interview, he did say it was one of his favorite movies that came out that year. But it wasn't like I reviewed all the movies that I watched this year, and this came out on
number
top.
One is Crawl.
But
he's like,
he
there's
really
enough feet shots in this movie that would constitute Quentin
Don't ruin
Tarantino.
this for me.
I see it.
Quentin
I see what you're
Tarantino going
saying.
like, "This is I really enjoyed
A
this
lot of
movie."
paddling. Even there's dog feet. You get a bunch of feet, man.
Yeah, there's tons of feet. There's gator feet. Sorry, Sam.
It was Kaya Scadelario's idea for her character to be barefoot for most of the movie. She fought to have her character barefoot because she knew as a woman, if you step in poop or mud in flip-flops, instinct is to take them off. I think that's instinct for humans
in general.
Yeah.
not just women.
No, I don't understand that as a man.
I would just keep the poopy flip-flops on.
What do I do?
You don't walk around the house in poopy flip flops.
I constantly. I'm like, call out for my wife. I'm like, I got poop or mud. Oh, it says in flip flops, so I'd be like stepping in it. Like it's not even like on it. I imagine just stepping on it, but it's when it gets in the flop.
Between your toes and your flop. Yeah.
It's
Help. What do I do?
it's like the elevator goop in what was that, Boneyard?
Yeah. Oh, that's Sam's favorite goo.
Please, Rob. The last name of the main protagonist is Keller, which is German word for basement. Large part of this movie takes place in a basement. Not really. Crawl space. Florida wouldn't have a basement. It is a large crawl space. My house, I'm in Florida, is raised, but you would like army crawl under the house
You don't
to get
have
under
a
it.
4-foot
Drop.
No, one of the houses on property has a closer thing where you could kind of
Scuttle.
crouch over a little bit in parts of it.
Yeah.
It's closer, but this is still very much a movie crawl space and gigantic. It's funny. I was watching special features and Alex Aja was like, here's the schematics for the layout of underneath. Like we have it all laid out so you can follow everything. And I was like, they do not do a good job of letting us know that, because to me, this was just an endless series of crawl space under the house. This was the second creature feature film by Aja. He also directed Piranha 3D. The burglars who robbed the gas station are named Marv, Stan, and Lee, which is a nod to Marvel creator Stan Lee. Also, Sam Raimi was a producer on this movie, so that could be intentional. I took out a lot of them, but there's tons of behind-the-scenes fact on how safe they were for the dog during this movie. Trainer here, trainer there. We trained it to do this. We went over that first. We made sure there was no debris loose when we did this and that. They're very big on dog safety behind the scenes.
That's nice.
So, rather than give you all the details, just know that happened.
The dog was well handled.
Now, this is one sticking to the quotes from, because somebody really editorialized it when they put it into IMDb. Director Alexandra Aja revealed the dog Sugar was originally meant to die, stating, "We were back and forth with, should the dog sacrifice itself? Should the dog be fed to the gators to save someone? Should the dog lose a part of its body? But I think at the end we chose not to do it because the most interesting part was to make people feel that the dog was not going to make it for the whole movie. And also to keep him alive for a sequel," he joked. Where we see the whole movie through his eyes and the alligators he was fighting on the surface while they were in the crawl space, which sounds amazing.
Great.
A POV dog movie would be pretty cool.
Body count is 5. While Haley is driving, the camera shows a shark with a victim in its mouth. This is not Jaws. I don't understand how this is not Jaws, because the shark also looks like it's in a tornado, so it looks like it'd be a
Sharknado?
not the Sharknado. Yeah. And then last bit of extra trivia is actually not IMDb behind the scenes.
What?
This is from the Tampa Bay Times. So when I was in this movie very early on, she's going to drive from Gainesville home to her dad, which is 2 hours driving south with no traffic, which could be where I live. But she goes to a place called Bright Rock. So I Googled it to see if I could try and place it more precisely. And this article came up. Tampa Bay Times headline, "Horror movie crawl filmed in Tampa Bay in waters where body was found."
Oh.
Yeah. So this movie was mostly, I'm going to summarize the article. movie was mostly filmed in Belgrade, Serbia, but exterior footage was for Florida was shot in the Tampa Bay area.
Wait, this was filmed in Serbia?
Yeah,
So it's a Serbian
most
film?
of it was filmed on a soundstage.
This is a Serbian film?
A French-Serbian
A
film.
French-Serbian
A
film?
French-Serbian-American film.
Oh, God.
No thanks.
Yeah, so most of it actually very cool. Once she gets to her dad's house where most of the movie takes place, that little neighborhood, that is all a sound stage. It's a water tank so that they could fill the whole thing with water and raise the water levels as they went.
Oh, cool.
And then the crawl space was its own water tank. Different parts of the house were its own water tank, gas station, etc. They did a lot of innovative water movie making with this one. And the soundstage didn't even really need to be a soundstage because everything was so loud from the water and wind and everything. There was barely any savable sound from the movie. They needed the tank to be able to do the tank,
Right.
make the tanks and everything. So anyway, it was filmed around Tampa Bay for the exterior shots to establish it's Florida. And one of the neighborhoods was shot off Lake Maggiore. And in a tragic coincidence, the severely decomposed body of 16-year-old Jarvis Delaford was found on July 4th surrounded by alligators.
Oh.
Yeah. So somebody was eating by gators.
How did he
Right
die?
around where this was shot. It doesn't say. But I mean, people usually it's old people and little kids, but it happens.
Sure.
Not unheard of. Now, just killing for no reason, just because there's a hurricane, is a little different. But,
we'll get into it.
All right. Yeah, I read that article and thought it was interesting and wanted to include it. So, who picked it? Why in history? This is my pick. I picked it. So, my history is that, honestly, it may have been when I saw Midsummer originally that I saw the trailer for this. I know I was right before my son was born. I was going to the theater pretty often with my buddy Casey, shout out. And we saw the trailer for this and we were clowning on it so hard, calling it Hurricane Gator. And then eventually when it came out at home, I gave it a shot because I thought it was going to be dumb fun or like bad. I don't know what I thought. Anyway, it turned out I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to. It is dumb fun, but like not bad. So bad it's good. Whatever. It impressed me. And I haven't watched it since then. And I've been wanting to revisit it to see how I felt about it now after doing the pod.
And
here we are.
And here we are.
Podding it.
And now I do call it Crawl and not Hurricane Gator, so I have gained some respect for it.
Thanks.
I had never, I don't think I've actually seen this before. Or I feel like I may have started this before, because I definitely remember the first half of the movie and not the second half of the movie. So I feel like I may have like rented this on video.
Falling asleep.
Yeah. One of those where I'm like, I'm going to rent this online. And then, but yeah, same thing. When I first saw the trailer for it, it was basically like, oh, okay. So just vicious hurricane gators.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
It didn't help that I saw the trailer I know it was, I also saw the trailer for 47 meters down uncaged, I think, whatever the second one of those is called.
Yeah.
And we're calling that shark hole because it takes place like in a cave system or something.
Sure.
And so we were clowning on that. And then I was like, well, what? Hurricane Gator was pretty good. I'll check out shark hole. No, can't. Not even bad fun.
This is, it's so weird to me. I think sometimes when like set in Florida about killer alligators, because it's almost like because it's
some Florida ass horror, gators and hurricanes.
Well, exactly, and like
Florida
I think that's
what
not terming. It's like that uncanny valley where it's like because I live in a dog's mouth that is Florida and deal with alligators, like the idea of it isn't as crazy to me. You know what I mean? Where it's like a lot of these are like, oh, okay, yeah, I've dealt with like I don't know. It's the
It doesn't seem more valid to you that like you could run into a gator that would eat you because you read about it in the papers rather than like a werewolf.
No, I would but for me it's like I'd rather see a werewolf movie over like something I could read in the paper.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Where it's like,
because this movie is like my wife's nightmare. Like she hates hurricanes and gators.
And alligators.
Smash them together.
Yeah.
And she's a Florida native.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen this.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into this Florida fucking movie. Set at Florida State, Florida Gators. Again, I mean, it's so on the nose.
Right.
So we start with a swimming race at the University of Florida in Gainesville. I do like immediately it sets a tone that I'm just not expecting in the underwater shot of all the swimmers diving in and the way
the title sequence was
and the
really
music.
cool.
Again, everything I'm like, all right, this movie's taking itself way more seriously than I was going to take it. Which is good. Our main girl, Haley, appears to have lost the race. She flashes back to her dad coaching her as a little kid, telling her she's an apex predator all day. In the locker room, Haley gets a call from her sister, who is worried about their dad. She can't get a hold of him. Haley says she'll drive down to check on him. She's like, even though there's a hurricane coming? Go ahead.
It's a little rude, I think, to take a video call in a locker room.
Oh, and then prop it up,
sure.
and then
prop it up
with a baby.
Well, just for respect out of the people behind you.
Yes,
the women
that are
behind
changing.
you,
absolutely, 100%. Like no fucks are given in that.
I didn't think about that until but just random thought or whatever.
Right
and then
now,
she
me
just
neither.
starts taking it all off too. I'm like, yeah, okay, I guess whatever. Your sisters, it's fine.
It's your sister, but
Fucking French
what about all these
directors.
other girls?
Right?
Yeah. Right, exactly. It's like, is this not common in the States?
Everyone is on the phone. Everyone video chats in the
Everybody
locker room.
zooms in locker rooms.
Big business meetings are held in locker rooms through Zoom. You just do it.
She's going to drive south because there will be no traffic headed south because everybody will be. I'll drive 75. It'll be 2 hours. Which again, I'm like, is that me? Is that Tampa? Where is that? That's
Right.
here. This is me.
This is me. Oh my god, this is my hometown.
Would you take a Category 5 hurricane this serious and wouldn't?
See, okay, this is the
It depends. When I was in college, I would
no,
not have.
not even close. I have driven through hurricanes and
I don't
in
know,
hurricanes
yeah.
when I was in college. Like
Same.
and
Category
and
5. Because those are fewer and far between, especially
I
I
drove
think
through
when
a
in
couple-
Well,
college.
this is also not here yet. It's still off the coast. You know what I mean? You never know where it's actually going to land. All
Yeah.
that shit. If I was like 20 and needed to go check on my dad from UF to here,
Sure.
I totally would do it.
Of course. I feel like the bigger thing is I feel like the school would have been on top of it quicker than rather having swim practice 2 hours before it hits.
a hurricane hits. I guess South Florida.
Well, it's
coast.
2 hours before the drive, but essentially it's hit. I mean, they're getting bans of it now.
Yeah, it's real
Yes.
bad.
Yes, UF would definitely be
It-
closed.
Absolutely.
For sure.
100%.
We got to practice. I mean, a hurricane's coming. Everything might be underwater. This will be good for you.
So there's a lot.
But
There's a lot in this
yeah.
movie where my suspenders of disbelief were ripped off by chompy teeth.
Oh, mine aren't ripped off, but
But-
they've never been so stretched out in my
but
life.
this was the only part where like I was like, oh okay, no, like driving through a hurricane, I've done that. Where halfway through the drive, I'm like, I shouldn't be on the road level of like I fucked up. And I feel like getting to like, especially towards the ass end where she gets down towards where her dad's condo is, where it's like really the belt, it's like it's coming down. That's part of like, you could look where she's like, oh fucking god damn it. Oh god. Like the further she's driving down there, more of like the god damn it's are coming out of her mouth.
Oh, sure.
Where she
Yeah, it's getting
realizes
worse
like
and
now
worse.
she's way worse.
It's coming in. Bands, baby.
So now she's driving down to check on her dad, listening to Florida radio, which is like, let's shoot guns at the hurricane, buddy. Hell yeah.
I want to be like, that's not
So
what it's
really
like, but that's
taking
what
a
it's
shot.
like.
It's so fucking what it's
You
like.
can totally tune into radio stations like that,
Now,
absolutely. yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, no, we're just repeating this on the air. You're not supposed to shoot directly into the hurricane. I know it's very tempting.
So the writers of this movie are, I don't know if they're from here, but they live in Florida.
Okay. I was wondering, yeah, how much
Yeah.
Florida
Yeah,
ties.
because
they have.
essentially they were like, they wanted to write just like a movie that'd be easy to sell. And they're like, gators live in these ponds right by my apartment, and everybody just acts like it's totally normal. But like these things could really, they kill people sometimes. Again, apparently their explanation for why they're so aggressive is that
Mhm.
the nest with all the babies is right there. So they're protecting the nest. Which I don't buy.
No.
I only got that after hearing the writers say that. I've always just been like, I guess we have super aggressive gators who want to eat
See,
people.
this is the only
That's-
part.
Ugh, the
I
hardest
wanted
part for me.
it is. I wanted, because I think okay. This is the only point of comparison I could have for something like this, is that like if you have a horror movie that's based off of like say what I do for like tattooing, and like the first scene you have the guy holding the tattoo machine completely wrong, and then you're just like, God fucking damn it, that is not how that fucking happens. Like, that's not how that's supposed. Because I'm a Floridian, there's certain parts of these alligator shit that I was just like, God fucking like, I would have must have like.
I'm the only Floridian on this pod.
I know, but it's just like living in Florida for as long as I have, where I'm like,
yes,
this is, but it's like if I would have much like if they had crashed into like a meth lab and it was like meth gators or like something like some steroid drug or something thrown into the mix that made the excuse of them being super hyper violent, I would have been like,
interesting. I'm glad that they didn't do that. Like I was like, at some point some government fucking thing spilled out into this pond during the hurricane to make him so aggressive.
Fuck yeah, give me toxic waste. Give me something. I need it. Because the whole time I'm like, this doesn't I mean, that's cool, awesome. I love seeing this gator go and jump up and chop someone in half and spin him around. And I'm like, this is awesome. But they would never. This doesn't happen to this extent. The stalking, it just threw me. It would never so hard
ever happen.
Yeah,
a gator could end up in your crawl space
and like it would maybe bite at you to like
even getting attacked by it would be unlikely,
right?
If you found it in there,
like you would have to have like it cornered or something, and it's trying to there's a lot of like in all that scenario, it just made it that hurdle too hard. Yeah, I wanted something like on the radio when like the guys are talking about their guns. And, holy shit, did you hear about them like lab gators breaking out? Something stupid like what helped.
Or honestly, I would have even liked to have just one big ass mamma jamma gator. Like I would believe like one homicidal gator
like a Jaws
versus
like a
30
big shark
that are all just like in a feeding frenzy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I'm glad that we didn't get a monster gator either, though. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, totally.
I just wanted a reason for their aggressiveness rather than the director having to say there were some eggs off screen somewhere, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The writers.
But otherwise, let's go on the ride.
Yeah, again, I mean, I have like elastic of the gods suspenders for this one. She gets to town. There's a roadblock, but she knows the cop who's part of the roadblock. They kind of chat for a minute.
You dated my sister.
He knows the family. Yeah, had a thing for her for sure. Still carrying a torch. She's like, all right, you know what? I will turn around and go home. But last minute, she tries calling her dad again. He doesn't answer still. So she's like, fuck it. Drives around the roadblock into town. She arrives and we see a for sale sign and her. First she goes to her dad's apartment, but it's empty. Dog Sugar is still there. She's like, you want to just leave his dog here during the hurricane? I'll go check the old house, the childhood home. Takes Sugar with her to go there. She arrives. We see the for sale sign in her dad's truck.
Because at this point, her parents are divorced. The mom is with some other dude, and they've like commutatively decided to sell their home, like their childhood home, right?
Correct. Yeah, we find that out through dialogue later, but that's correct. We know that.
Yeah.
She can't find him, calls his phone. His phone is at the sink with all of his tools. Branch jump scare. Branch breaks through the window. Absolutely
got me. It was hilarious to the level of that. Like, I was surprised afterwards how bad that Branch got me.
So that's one of the things that I skipped from the trivia, that there's like a whole paragraph on how much training they did with that dog to make him be comfortable with the branch coming through the window.
I'm sure, yeah.
Sugar is barking at something in the garage. Basement looking doors, I don't even know what to call them, that lead down the few steps to the crawl space, are open, and Haley descends the steps into the crawl space. She's crawling around looking for her dad. We kind of just... This is sort of establishing the crawl space as our new environment character, if you will. She finds him, puts him on a tarp, and drags him to the stairs. Gator jump scare. Gator jumping through stairs jump scare. Charging, breaks the stairs, and sends her backtracking with her dad.
I did like the bite reveal. Like when she finds him and then like checks for a pulse, makes sure he's breathing, and then that gross
pulls back his shoulder.
Sticky pull of the fucking wound was like, I don't know what I was expecting in that scene, but it was just kind of that visceral, like, you're like, oh.
That's grody.
Okay. All right. Yeah, okay, cool. This is the level of gator attacks.
So you think it's a bite? Because I wasn't sure what the wound was supposed to be myself.
Yeah.
Because I thought it originally it looked like a scratch, but I'm like, a gator wouldn't it doesn't have like, it's got those weird floppy feet.
It can scratch, yeah, but it would be weird for it to get your shoulder and scratch, yeah.
I feel like it's a chomp, like it's a nibble. You know what I mean? Like just a little front, little teeth, a little.
Chomped and like smacked him against a wall.
Yeah.
So she's backtracking with her dad till they go through some pipes, and yay, these pipes sort of act like a cage to protect you. The gator's too big to crawl through.
Ha 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 ha. There's a few different parts of this crawl space. I think it's in particular the open slotted brick that's kind of like falling apart in a few different areas.
The side, like that's sort of be the side of the house.
Would be the side of the house. I would have just been beating the fucking shit out of
pick
those
up a
brick.
pipe and knock those corners the fuck out and get there.
Just
absolutely,
get out.
Yeah.
Totally. Or the floor above you, like.
It is really funny that he's got
a
shovel. Like I like when he grabs the physical shovel that could actually pierce an alligator's hide in its head to kill it, but couldn't pierce the floorboards going up. Didn't even try.
Her dad comes to now. There's some character development. We find out about the divorce. She kind of blames herself, but it wasn't that. Just mom wasn't happy. Once you kids left, we were just two lonely people.
Yep.
Just some lonely people. Lonely.
Haley sees her phone outside the safety of the pipes and decides to go get it. All in the way, she's like, talk to me, Dad, and we get more character development. Go ahead.
A whole lot more. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of the dad's responsibility on that aspect, where like if the daughter's blaming herself for the divorce, because it's like, well, Dad, like you were really obsessed with my swimming, and then like we went everywhere, and then you guys split up. You figure that he would at some point be like, no, we kind of were just like in a falsehood of a marriage, and like you didn't cause all of that, even though you feel like I don't know.
He does exactly that, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, no. I was
you
saying
expected
before,
him to intimate that before. I don't think she ever laid it out before that she blamed herself.
Yeah, that thing. It's the whole
because it seems like it's very recent as well. I mean, it wasn't until she went to college, and she's in college now.
Yeah, I didn't quite. Yeah, I mean, I get why, because obviously they go into a little bit of dialogue, but the initial like them kind of like not talking. I just that was a little confusing for me going through it.
Yeah, she's angry for some reason at him. I don't think they really said.
Yeah.
Although that was one of my favorite lines because it did feel very real when she's like, I miss seeing your face at my meets. He's like, I thought you were mad at me. It's like, I was. I still want you there. Like, just because I'm mad at you doesn't mean I don't want you there. Without saying all that, I liked it. They're chatting on the way to the pipes. She gets to her phone, checks around the corner. Gator's still there. Calls 911. Oh! Gator number 2, the second lightning flash, second gator jump scare.
I do like the fact that, but it's like mouth is open, so it has that like weird like. Bah.
It's very, very gatory though. I mean,
it is.
Gators always be mouth breathing. Haley gets to the pipes, and right when she's almost safe, gator bites her thigh and pulls her back. She gets away, but now she's stuck between 2 gators. I think that's also she gets banged between the walls a little bit on that one, right?
Like
Classic gator fashion. Now she's stuck between the 2. She kind of muzzles one with something underneath and
they have this,
another in the eye.
They're like these weird steel bait traps or something like that. I
think they're like because we see a dead possum in one.
Raccoon or possum.
Yeah, larger animal, bigger than. But the idea is to catch them alive, and they're caught, and then you can go release them somewhere.
Yeah.
Or
do we ever get an actual gator death roll?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few times they roll around.
Yeah.
I mean, we get one to her at the end of the movie.
Exactly.
Really
That's
sick.
True. Yeah.
Jump scare. She hides. She stabs the one in the eye. She gets away, but she's stuck in this new crawl space. She and her dad are now yelling across to each other. Hey, are you okay? I guess. She addresses the one best she can. The crawl spaceman is starting to flood now. Dad does.
We got about an hour. I like the fact that he has like
takes his tape measure and looks at his watch. Yeah,
real dad shit. Can you guys do that yet?
Real dad ass shit.
No, not yet. Not
Sam,
yet.
You're probably close.
Unfortunately, not. I'm closer.
Yeah.
But
I have a tape measure on me at all times, but I have not.
I have the tape measure part. At what point do you reach like cell phone like belt holder dad level?
Ooh,
that's a great question. I'll let you know when I get there.
When your kid gives you one for your birthday or Father's Day.
Yes.
I'm like, great.
Cool.
Fantastic.
I
Be
gotta
that
wear
guy.
this, huh?
Did your Uncle Brian put you up to this?
He's going to now.
He's going to now.
So they're each kind of on their own dressing their wounds. This is when the dad, his shin bone's sticking out, and he like puts the wrench in there and belts it up and forces it back in place against the wall.
That was pretty
Wrench it.
Yeah, I like that one.
Ranch it.
Ranch.
Haley has moved to a new area where she can see people in the gas station across the street. They are stealing an ATM.
This is Stanley and Marv, right?
But not for long, because the gators gobbled them all. Yep.
This whole sequence I actually really thoroughly enjoyed.
It's fun. This whole movie is fun.
It's I do like the fact of like, because I think not misdirection, but like as he's seeing the flashlight and he's marching out into open water, I'm like, this guy's gonna get fucked up, and then just having her getting attacked in the background.
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was great. I thought that was really fucking good.
Then he starts getting attacked, and he's trying to run back in, tell the other guy who's inside, I think it's Marv, hey, like, get out of the water, get out of the water.
It's like his brother, right?
And he gets sucked in, and then we get corpse pressed against the window by a gator jump scare.
Fat.
And
that was a good meat
then
slap.
I like the shot on the mirror in convenience stores
that he
to see
sees
down the aisles that he
yeah.
sees the gator coming up behind him and gets pulled in.
And then he gets like chomped by a few of them, right?
Don't think we really see. I think it's one of those things where we see like a thrashing tail or whatever. I don't quite recall, to be honest. My favorite one is a little down the road. Haley sees it all. Her dad tells her to follow the pipes to the wet wall because the
all the walls are wet.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. No, that's where all the pipes go inside. As a fun little family moment. A lot of their stuff I'm sort of skipping or running by real quick, same character development. But I do think it's well done for a dumb gator attack hurricane movie.
Yeah,
there's something going on there.
Oh, yeah.
The father-daughter stuff, I'm fine with all the plot lines. Like I said, I just needed a reason for these gators to be a little bit more aggro, and because I'm fine with all of the father-daughter stuff. Yeah, I think plays well with it.
They do protect their nest. If you stumbled into a gator nest, it would attack you. But if you lived nearby one, and you'd be fine. Like,
even if there was
it's like it laid it in the pipe and then it claimed the town.
Yeah, they should have had the nest somehow washed in or something, and that really, because that could make them aggressive. But again, it would only be a few of them. It ends up being like every gator that was in that pond, it seems like. Also, her phone got crushed when she tried to get it earlier. A gator just stepped on it. A lake, yeah.
I audibly laughed out loud when the fucking gator crunched her phone. Because I think it does this really
too.
Silly.
It's very
like
silly.
This.
I was like, I was on board for it too. Again,
but in a fun way.
That.
Again, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
We went camping this past weekend, and I drove so many lakeside communities, and I just kept thinking, I hope everybody's got a good overflow pipe in their crawl space, because y'all better watch it. Couldn't help but think it everywhere.
Them hurricane gators gonna come get you.
Did you have a weapon on you? Were you prepared to fight any animal encounters?
That's why I watch so many animal attack movies. Is just
you're just learning.
Yeah, exactly. Studying. So what do you think? I'm a Hugh Glass guy.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
So she finds the wet wall, finds the pipes going up, tries to push up the floorboard. Spiders fall on her face for a second.
That was great.
Yeah.
I thought that
one of the things I love about this movie is like everything they try and do, like it just gets worse and worse with everything that happens.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Well, no, I like the fact where it what you originally think is just like dust or like just crud, then starts crawling. And she was like, oh, fuck.
You don't want to get too crazy and splashy about it. Like,
yes,
tough. So there's a table on top that's like catching something, and she can't push it up. Nothing she can do. That was their plan B. The cop from earlier, Wade, he and another cop have shown up on a little cop boat. Presumably knew she was going there from, their exchange earlier.
And for all our dog people, so while this is going on in the crawl space, the dog is just hanging up on the level above. Like, what's going on? Sugar's like poking around. Yeah, like when she's trying to get up, like Sugar comes over, like, hey, what are you doing over here?
Yep.
Because Sugar kind of alerts the cop to like their location, like helps out a little. Yeah.
And this is what I got confused, where it's like, obviously couldn't make it up there. Now, I'm assuming she scurries to another part of the crawl space underneath. But it's like, if you hear the cop, why wouldn't you go back to the part where you could lift it up like 4 inches and yell his name?
She was in a different crawl space at that point.
I assume she probably moved,
okay.
Because I forget what, but on my second watch, I was like, when it gets to the thing, her lifting up, I was like, the cop's about to be here. Why doesn't she just do that? And then immediately she goes elsewhere. So I was like, that's why. But still, you think you would have been like, okay, so under the table in the hallway, move that and lift up the. I guess pretty quickly he gets got. So anyway, cops on the boats have arrived. Wade goes inside. Cop on the boat has to check out his tangled propeller, which
is fucking bonkers. This entire sequence
is my favorite part, maybe. I love the gator caught on the swing, how he sees the swing under the water kind of like moving, and he's like, what is that? And he sees the tail whip, and he's like, oh fuck, I'm getting back in the boat. And then he gets bit, I forget what, but we just see that top shot, and there's like 5 or 6 gators that pull every part of his body apart quickly.
So brutal. He gets bitten,
I want that
falls
shirt.
back.
That's my shirt.
Dude, just the simultaneous head rip, arm rip, torso, and like I think both of his legs, just at the same time. The golden goose egg of the entire movie for me was like that. If I went,
and I've definitely seen gators eat like that, where like at a gator show or something. Obviously, it's not a human, but like if there's a huge piece, like they all just get in there and rip a chunk off, and there's nothing left in like a second.
So this is super well. You guys may or may not have seen this, but if you guys have ever seen Faces of Death, there is an actual gator
attack. I was like 12 or 13.
Okay, yeah. Well, there is a gator attack scene on there that I was like, while watching this, I was like, oh, this is ramped up, but this is genuinely accurate to like how that went down, where it was just like multiple areas and they just bite, rip, and run.
Bite, rip, and run, baby. Bite, rip, and run. I'm working on a new catchphrase.
Oh, that's all right. Well, that should be on the shirt.
So he gets eaten. Wade finds the hole because Sugar's barking, and Haley's just kind of panicked, yelling at him, and the dad's
there
like,
are two
gators down here. It's like, oh. So he goes to tell other cop to get out of the water, and gator jumps up out of the water and grabs him and pulls him in.
By his like fucking torso.
It's like kind of like
the gators can jump out of the water. Again, they would never do this, but if anything, Sugar would have gotten eaten because it's a small mammal.
Yeah, gators.
Dogs get eaten by gators all the time.
That's the thing they do.
Kids, old people. And I honestly don't know how often the old people thing happens, but I just remember a couple of years ago, some like old lady fell in the little retention pond and couldn't climb out because she was like physically couldn't do it and ended up getting eaten by a gator.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It was just like the scene with that cop. It was actually about 5 gators. They all took a chunk.
Honestly, I'd rather that than like get death rolled.
I mean, that seems relatively quick. It seems like it's going to be a painful chomp and then a rip and you're done.
Right.
Yeah. Instead of what happened to this goddamn poor cop. Chest bit and just like
chest bit and then just gets chomped a whole bunch.
Chomping. Haley, to her credit, is trying to help. She goes over there. She's trying to grab him, trying to hit the gator, but no use. He gone.
Yeah, I did like the shot sequence while this is going on, where it's like because a lot of it almost is on the precipice of. I just call it Transformer vision when 2 Transformers are fighting and you have no idea what the fuck is going on because it's just a bunch of shiny bendy like metal parts. There were a few shots in this that were just very splashy and like not really knowing what's going on. But then the juxtaposition of the underwater shots of him grasping for her hand and she's trying to do the exact same thing, I thought was fucking like that.
I think it helped that he was in the bright yellow high visibility jacket as well. Yes. So at least his actions, you could tell more what was happening, even though the gator stuff was getting lost.
Mm-hmm.
Which that I saw in the behind the scenes. So no real gators in this movie. Obviously, they're all CGI. There are a few gator puppets. They don't get used a ton, but they are. It's mostly heads and stuff that get used throughout. But this scene, there's just a guy in a green morph suit, tossing the cop around in the water.
He's like, all right, so I just
Nice.
need you to give this guy a big old bear hug by the waist and just rip him around a while.
Yeah. And some of the other scenes are just a funny little green screen gator head chasing Haley around.
I thought you were gonna say that he was attached to an underwater rodeo bull, like one of those fake rodeo bulls.
Sure, yeah.
The water.
I mean, he's got.
I just want to see the cut.
Motion.
That's a bunch of all the gators edited out and a bunch of dudes in green suits just pretending to be gators
around.
and
He's the
running
only
around.
dude I saw, which is what made it so funny. You know what I mean? Because all the other ones were
Sure.
oh, sure, that's supposed to be. That'll get replaced with a gator, and this was just a dude in a green warm suit.
I like to just imagine them all as just dudes,
Yeah.
Right.
Every gator is just a dude in a green suit.
It's all
green
fucking
suit.
Andy
Just
Serkis
jumping.
and Tim Gunn, or is that his name?
From
Anyway, so Haley now swims back to the safety of her dad. Character development.
Yes.
Dad's going to, now they come up with their new plan. They didn't like the banging of the pipes earlier, so Dad is going to bang on the pipe while Haley swims to the stairs because the water is now risen enough that she could climb out the stairs that were broken by the gators. One of the interesting things in the behind the scenes, so this whole crawl space, was purpose built for this, and they talked about how hard the dry days were. Because everybody, the cameramen, everybody that had to crawl around, as you see how much movement they have in there. But on the water days, you could just sort of
Swim
glide
around.
around. Yeah, almost swim, So it's they talked about how it's the reverse of any other movie where the water days suck and the dry days are the nice days. They're it's actually relieves some tension. Yeah.
right.
But overall, it was a very difficult movie to make.
Was the water heated?
Yes. Whatever. Because it was all brought in. Well, I don't know. What is 27, let's say, Celsius?
That's not that warm.
In Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was around 27.
Maybe it is. Oh, I guess it is. Yeah, that is warm. 80 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Oh.
Interesting.
Because they also had bodies in there and lights on everything. They were having trouble regulating the temperature of their water, which they really wanted to do for camera purposes, for steaming on the lenses and just moisture getting inside stuff. And a lot of the length of the filmmaking was involved in just doing protecting the cameras from water for all the different shots. So they come up with this plan, bang on the pipes. Haley's going to swim to the stairs. He's banging on the pipes. Gator swims towards him. He knocks out a support beam to crash part of the house on him, and now Dad's beating it with a brick and kills it with a shovel. Some real fucking dad shit right there. I'm yeah, that's what I want to do. Which, again, why couldn't you have used any of your tools, this shovel, for any other kind of escape?
No, just for gator killing.
My suspenders are pulled, but you know what? I just got to see this guy kill a gator with a shovel and a brick, so I don't care that much. It's an animal attack movie. I've learned something about myself, is the more seriously a movie takes itself, the more questions I am going to ask about logic and stuff, and the more I want that to be taken seriously. The more it's an alligator attack movie during a hurricane it is, the less issues I have with those type of things.
This is just a for better choice of word, a perfect storm for you. It's
Maybe
Yeah.
learn something about myself. Haley she's going through and she steps on something underwater and a gator notices and starts swimming after her. So the stair exit isn't an option anymore. She's fuck it, I gotta go through the overflow pipe. I have no more options. So she gets to the gator nest, aka gator gore pit. We got dead cop. We got dead animals.
Oh yeah.
We got
Mhm.
some hatched eggs. We got some baby gators. And she climbs into the nest, and a gator passes through, comes into the water. And as soon as she gets in there, I'm like, there's 12 gators underwater here that we can't see. Because again, growing up around gators, you know that if you see a few gators at the water, there's 10 times more that you can't see.
They're underneath it, yeah.
Yeah. So I was really waiting, especially, so she climbs in the little nest and pulls the cop body over to her to take the gun. And as soon as she grabbed that cop, even though I had seen it once before, started pulling him towards her, I thought we were going to get a jump scare there, just because
a feeding frenzy scene.
Dead food should be dead, and if a gator's in there, it's going to attack that. You know what I mean?
And why doesn't it attack her when it comes in?
I don't think
it sees her.
She's really still.
Yeah, they got that T-Rex.
They're not like, I mean,
T-Rex rules.
T-Rex rules. All right.
Well, I mean, in theory, usually I don't know. Gators typically don't charge much unless they're protecting something, but she's in the middle of the nest. Right. Of all places. Well, because we couldn't get this sweet thing where she gets the gun and then it bites her arm and she's with her hand unloads the clip.
That's amazing.
Drops that gator.
Yeah.
Love it. I would take that shirt too.
Oh my God, ridiculous.
It is super ridiculous.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised on how unfucked up her arm was after.
Well, this is the point too. You got to start thinking about the wounds and how much how bad they seem, and then how 5 minutes later they're not really a problem anymore. That starts to come into effect.
The dad's leg split in half like a toothpick, and he's still
it's like an action movie in that sense.
It's
when he was found, he was like half dead. Like
totally, and you can say it's
now
adrenaline,
he's up to
whatever. There's reasons you can.
The way she swims in this after having her leg that mauled.
Yeah, where she's banged around from wall to wall. Yeah.
When she does a part where she looks at that wound, there are like giant
it's terrible. Yeah.
gash wounds in there. Like that's hitting muscle, man. That's hurting like a motherfucker to swim in and like move and kick around.
And she's still clearing the 200.
It's like it hits you hard with that. 5 minutes later, we're past that. We got to get to the next thing.
She's an apex predator.
That's the thing. This takes place in the Marvel universe. She's actually X-23.
Oh, that's why we get the Marv, Stan, and Lee. It's a little
exactly
not a Reno.
The dad is Logan. It's old man Logan, and this is X-23. It's weird. It's a thing.
I'd watch the remake of this with old man Logan and X-23. And then you can make them the mutant gators with whatever,
I want to see that version as well.
Yeah. So gator pops out, she shoots it, unloads the clip in its mouth. Now she has to swim out of the drain pipe that's in this little whatever the fuck area she's in that leads out to the lake. I love the way all of this looks when she comes through the pipe, she comes out, sees the gator, starts swimming under the dock, but some of her air bubbles got out and they go up and just tickle underneath the gator, who instantly, as soon as it hits, takes off towards her. I love that whole moment. She swims to shore, gets out. Again, the gator just sort of chops at her as she's getting out, where gators will definitely run onto shore a little bit, typically not a ton, but they're willing to go up on the bank to bite something. Not in this case. Suspenders stretched.
Stretch Armstrong stretched.
These are like all time. Yeah, totally. Self-healing.
They're apex predators.
Wolverine. Yeah.
Wolverine of suspenders.
Mm-hmm. So she gets into the lake. She gets in the house and starts breaking open the floor just as Dad is drowning, but she pulls him out and resuscitates him. They go to leave, but the streets are completely flooded, like cars can't drive in them type of flooded. They see the boat from the gas station across the street from the people who are robbing the ATM.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you know what?
We need
We
that
can't go back in the house.
Free
the
ATM.
levees are going to break. We need to go get that. Oh, yeah, bonus money.
Wait, they're like, wait, does that boat have an ATM in it?
Let's take that boat.
The dad's like, they'll be in the floodwaters. Just don't splash. Like, you know what to do. You know how gators act. They'll be in these areas. Just go over there. I love all these underwater shots. Or when they start walking towards it and Haley's talking to her dad and one just swims by right next to her. Very tense, cool moment. He's carrying sugar. They hear the sirens for the levees, the purge sirens. Right? Is that the ones?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the only time we hear sirens. Yeah.
Yes.
So she's like, I got to swim for it. She swims, racing the gators to the boat, makes it in just in time as they all kind of chomp up at the sides of it. She gets in the boat, starts driving towards her dad. Apex Predator all day. Classic action movie delivery from something that's been happening. So cheesy and lame and dumb, but awesome. Love it. I'm here for it. She gets her dad and sugar in the boat just in time as a huge wave from the levees break and picks up the boat and slams them right back into their house into the living room.
That whole sequence is just like fuck.
Yeah. And what's amazing is like how much of this is practical for a movie that is full of fake gators. All this water and waves, and it was. Again, they invented and we're doing a lot of like tricky stuff to make all that work.
What I thoroughly loved about,
especially at the end in the house,
the gas station and the house, and having this on this ginormous soundstage, it reminded me of Twister. In a certain few ways.
I can see that.
Yeah, I've been wanting to revisit it since I saw the Twisters trailer.
Because it does. It has that like I like the use of practical effects for disaster movies like this because it grounds it so much. I mean, obviously, it's full of CGI alligators, but the actual scenes of like wading through to the gas station, to the streets, and all that stuff, like you can't beat like doing it for real versus like if that was CG, like this movie would have been way different.
Made me think of. Did you guys ever? I don't know if I'm remembering the right title or not because the trailer on one of my movies had not the theatrical title. It may have been called Hard Rain. It was a Christian Slater flooding movie with bank robbers and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like jet skis and water at the end in a church or something.
Yes.
Anyway, I was thinking of that movie during this.
Totally.
Okay. So, Jesus Christ, where was the answer? So gators can swim. I just had to look this up. Just to top speed about 20 miles per hour is what a gator can hit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The fastest human can swim at about 4.7 miles per hour.
She would have just gotten picked
Holy
clean.
Smokes. That's it?
Yeah.
I would have thought. I mean, I know that gators can swim faster than people, even if it's like Michael Phelps or whatever, but I would have thought that it was.
That is Michael Phelps.
4.7.
Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps can swim the 200-meter freestyle in approximately 1.42 minutes, which equates to a speed of about 4.7 miles per hour.
Wow. Damn, I thought we were faster than that.
No, I knew. I was like, I know
Apparently
we're not
not
that fast in the water. Like,
I know
even though
we're
it seems like
certainly
it.
not gator fast, but I just, we could run
Like,
20, fast humans can run like 20 something miles an hour, 22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have said like, I don't know. I thought we would have been flirting with double digits, at least double Michael Phelps top speed.
Sam, that just means you just have a record to beat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look out, Phelps.
Get in the water. Get in the water. Throw some gators behind you.
Yeah, dude. You got a dock right by your house.
Yeah. So if she's pulling speeds to beat out gators, she should be having no. I guess right. It was all mental. She could always do it. It was all mental, because she could be doing that.
She wasn't listening to her dad. She was sick of that whole apex predator thing. This whole story's about listening to your dad, and now I like it.
Don't think for yourself. That's wrong. You don't know better.
God, a French Serbian film. Listen to your father. Crawl.
Haley was knocked into the kitchen. She climbs up on the counter. Everything's flooded. Dad's been knocked into some other part of the house. He tells Haley to meet him at the stairs, and she throws something in the water to test it for gators. Falls in the water, but she gets out safe when she notices the cop walkie-talkie going off. So she's like, it's floating and still working apparently. So she's like, I'm going to go get that. I like the way she like climbs across and jumps on the boat and uses the thing to try to grab it. I thought for sure when she went and grabbed it out of the water, she was going to get pulled in.
Mm-hmm. It's like she's playing a game of hot lava.
Yeah. The floor is
but
lava.
It's actual water around.
Yeah.
It was so funny the other day. But I was like, hey, Dad, do you want to play The Floor is Possibly Lava? I was like, how do we play that? Because we play Floor is Lava all the time. Anyway, that
The
was
floor is
one.
possibly lava.
Yeah.
Am I in it right now?
Oh, no.
Is
Am I okay?
I have a feeling a lot of the times you won't be okay, and
But he will be.
Like, that
Absolutely.
seems.
Yeah, that is exactly how it turned out. So, Dad finds some flares that he grabs on his way up the stairs. She carefully gets the walkie-talkie, tries to radio for help. Sugar swims down the hall to Dad, and to safety again. We see follow Sugar swim, and we're like, oh God.
This is where you're expecting it out of all moments.
Yeah.
This
And
is
I
like
could
one of the
totally
biggest-
see some sort of sacrificial, like, good dog does it to save Haley or something, but I'm glad they didn't do it. I think they made the right choice.
I am too.
Unlike that alligator movie I didn't see that you guys covered, that there's a lot of
dogs were dying
right?
left and right.
Oh,
Dog
my,
carcass.
so
here.
many
Throw a
dogs.
Wait, is there a dog carcass in this scene? No, throw a couple more.
Yes.
I don't know, it's not that bad, but like
It's close.
that's what it felt like at some points.
Yes.
I should watch it. All right. Dad gets Sugar. He's looking around with his flare. Super gnarly arm bite where it grabs his arm, rips it back, tears it off. Excellent. All practical. I saw that.
It was real. That was the one real alligator.
He was like, was ready to lose the arm. Actually, after filming in water for so many days, I developed this infection.
Sure.
So we actually had to take it off.
It was so pruny. It was so pruny and wet.
The same guy who made the gator props, the few that were used, also did these. But it's cool seeing him show the different like stages of this effect, and like from where the arm would break and the blood would pump out to, and then he was like, we had 3 or 4 arms that were just one-time use arms that, you know, just each take that arm was gone, and a few other different ones. It was pretty interesting, and I think played well. You could tell that it was practical. It didn't look like CGI. Which you would think that gators being so CGI, at first it kind of, for me at least, at first it's kind of off-putting or throws you off a little, and then I kind of forget about him, just like totally here in this world of gators attacking this family in their crawl space.
Yeah, they never bothered me.
No. Yeah. You kind of just accept it.
It's just that first time when it burst through the stairs, I'm like, eh.
Oh, yeah.
Just more stretching and healing. When I get that feeling, I need stretching and healing.
Healing.
All right. Oh, I forgot to mention it was a cool part when they go outside. The eye of the storm passes over. It's just a neat little moment in the film because everything has been going so crazy for so long. That quiet is a fun juxtaposition. Anyway, Dad gets his arm ripped off. He makes his way up the stairs. Gator swims after Haley. She goes into the bathroom and then tricks it into following her into the shower, and she climbs over the side and shuts him in there. That's a cool shot with her jumping over and it jumping up at her.
Strong shower, that is.
Oh,
a strong glass
industrial
shower.
grade.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No.
I don't think they make them like that.
No, they did.
Okay.
They could only afford the hurricane-proof glass, but they fucked up the order, so it was just sliding glass for the shower.
Well, gators, you know how they can, like, they have that bite that's super strong, but they can't open their mouth so well.
Right.
When they're like, they don't have like that burst that when they're in a small area, they don't have that strength to just push the doors off. This is all bullshit.
Well, once it was inside
This is all
of there,
bullshit.
I was like, okay, sure. But then I thought about it more. I was like, it would just whip its tail so fucking hard and smash that shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Break the wall.
I was like, when it's, yeah. Especially because right before it was breaking down that like wood door almost, as like she was trying to close it, it was smashing its way through that so easily.
Right. Well, again,
like,
it had all that space to build up the momentum. It doesn't have that like one pump, that one 1-inch punch thing. It's got
It
anti-1-inch
needs to be
punch.
working on the 1-inch punch.
Yeah.
Bury a gator in a coffin, and then you'll see
Yeah.
Exactly.
some results.
Gator swims after Haley and she traps in the shower. Haley and Dad and Sugar head to the roof. Before they go up, Haley tries to wave down a helicopter from an upstairs bedroom, but the water's gone so much that it breaks the windows. And
I gotta say this. So if they go into the attic, do not go into the attic if like waters are flooding, because you can get stuck in there.
Yes.
And like
Drown.
die. Drown very
Now
quickly. Like that's not the.
He
Now
breaks a
obviously
hole through his
they
roof. They
break
go
it open.
prepared. Yeah, but if you
Now they just yeah. Yeah, you're not
now
supposed
he's
to
going to
go
use his tools because the roof is not as strong as the floor.
The waterlogged, destroyed floor.
Yeah.
That's like yeah. The roof.
So
Is adamantium.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
So Dad's trying to break out, and she has gotten washed out, so she's trying to figure out a way to get up. But whoops, chomped and death rolled instead. So this is when we get the death roll. She's in the house, just getting spun and spun and spun. She has the presence of mind to notice the flare on the ground, so she's getting spun by it. She's trying to grab it, finally gets it, gets him in his soft underbelly. Doesn't kill him, but it's enough for it to be like, oh!
My mistake.
Go. Yeah. So now she swims outside the house, tries to climb up, but the gutter breaks off as she's climbing it, and she's just hanging onto that. Gator's coming after her. When finally they get a little bit of luck, and something underneath the water, like below the surface, hits the gator and sweeps it away. Because, there's all sorts of debris flying around down there.
Uh-huh.
Dad reaches over with his good hand and pulls her onto the roof.
Dad grabs her by the stump.
And they see a helicopter and wave the flare at it. The end. Another thing is helicopters can't fly in Cat 5 hurricanes.
They can't.
It's like they don't just have active helicopters out
just going around during the hurricane. Yeah,
I do like the cheese factor at the end scene where she's looking back at her dad and just does that turnaround smile like doo 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 ba doo doo.
We did it!
Yay!
And that is Crawl.
And Sugar's on the roof too.
Sugar's there too. Everybody.
Sugar
made it. Sugar made it to the roof. All right.
If Sugar didn't make it and got in a death roll, you could have played what was that song by the Sneaker Pimps, I think it was, Spin Spin Sugar.
Oh yeah,
the cue for it. That's real morbid there.
I'm the one that went there. Pimpery.
I'm actually impressed that you went there.
Why not? Because it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar's alive and well,
mm-hmm.
and
Sugar made
a cute little dog at the end.
So.
All
right, final thoughts. Florida ass horror. I'm here for it. Doesn't matter. I mean, it's a dumb animal attack
Give
movie.
Give some math.
But fun as fuck. So, yeah.
Escape a lab.
They're Florida Gators. For all you know, they did get some just pretend that that happened off screen.
Medulla oblongata.
And something got in to the water. Yeah, the medulla oblongata.
Like they all got punctured in the medulla oblongata somehow. Like they all have like a little piece of like rebar sticking out of their heads, and that's just made them super aggro.
Maybe there was some mad scientist who also lived on this lake who's just been feeding the gator crazy pills.
Exactly.
Maybe they got infected
crazy
with
gator
rage.
Pills. Any of it. I want it. I want those guys on the radio talking about guns.
That did happen. It's just we don't see it or know about it.
All right. I'll think about it.
I forgot to include this because I saw it as a special feature. I didn't put it in my notes, but there's going to be a whole opening of a family getting eaten by gators that they didn't have the budget for. So there's a motion comic you can watch on the I'm assuming Blu-ray. I have the 4K UHD because that's how I roll. But it's Alexandre Aja kind of introduces it, and then you watch it, and a family is escaping during a hurricane. Hurricane's rolling in. They're on the road, stuck in traffic. Water starts flooding more and more. Cars start getting swept away. Dad goes out to try and do something, he gets attacked by a gator and pulled off, and it almost gets the cop treatment that we see later, at least in this motion comic. And then the mom and two kids are sitting on the roof of the car as a helicopter's coming up, but the water is rising more and more, so the roof's slowly disappearing more and more. And there, and from like a profile, we see like gators jumping and body parts flying and screams and stuff. Crawl was going to be the opening. Let's find out what we're gonna answer tonight. Same questions we always answer
every night. Pinky on the brain.
How would we survive? Who would be sacrificed? There's a hurricane coming. We're trapped under a house with gators.
Fuck ton of homicidal, just insane.
So again, the biggest point is they have to be homicidal, because if we were trapped in a crawl space with gators, they'd be more afraid of us than we were, and we'd be able to get out.
We'd absolutely get out. So if we had to deal with like meth gators,
I think we're figuring out any of the multitude of ways to bust something open.
The first thing,
house.
work on the brick openings in the side to crawl out. Next thing, work on the floor. We got a lot of chances, I think. So we make it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone actually. I don't think there needs to be a sacrifice.
At least beyond the gators, the hurricane might be a problem.
The hurricane might kill us. I think that we probably get at least a safe clearance outside of the gators.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, how many really are there?
It seemed like there was a lot of gators. Like, there's a lot of gators.
Like, all the gators came together? Like, the gators just...
Like a gator rebellion?
Why
killing people is the biggest thing. Yeah.
Right. Why? That's not all... Like...
Because they do, when hurricanes do come in, they end up in all sorts of weird places. But not killing people.
No? Maybe they do.
Yet.
Until they get some, something in them. A pill.
How did you make the film gooier? Should it be gooier?
I mean...
I'm satisfied with what we got. Really, we would need more victims to make it gooier, and then it kind of becomes a different story.
No, you make it almost like... I like the idea of like, it would be a different story. Maybe this is Crawl 2 to lead into whenever we get to that. But it's like the flooding has already gotten pretty high, and you got like different people, like a whole like suburban housing network.
It's like Tremors.
Yes, exactly. Yes. There's people on different houses, and you have to try to get across to either ones, and
that'd be good.
Body count and all that kind of shit.
Sequel to Crawl is Swim.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. But I think. But for Crawl 1, you just I think it does it good.
Same. And when we get it, like the cop getting ripped apart, the arm getting ripped off. There's some good ones. Villain level 1 through 10. Gator's the villain or the hurricane's the villain? Let's go Gator. It's gotta be Gator, right? It's a Gator attack movie. The hurricane adds to it, but
I mean, I guess these gators would have just been attacking.
And these are gators,
regardless of the hurricane. Humans. If you went in there, they would have just been going wild too. So.
I mean, power level maybe like a 2.
I mean, because really, it's so hard to like. They kill a bunch of people
with a shovel.
But they also like some people like get massively attacked and are okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it depends on how they attack you, and I mean, again. Growing up in Florida, being in Florida, seen gator shows, seen plenty of rednecks hop on top of gators, like
and we know the you just like close their mouth down, like raise the do the chin thing.
If you don't know this about gators, they don't mention it in the movie, but it is true what I said. They really don't have strong muscles for opening their mouth; it's closing their mouth. So you can, in theory, if their mouth's not open yet,
duct tape their mouth shut.
Well, just even hold it. Like you can.
Even hold it. Yeah, you duct tape it so you can go do other stuff.
That doesn't mean you have to watch out for the tail and thrashing and stuff.
Under the throat. Yeah, I've seen so much stuff. Grab it by the tail. Yeah.
Also, it's like with iconography with this is that like if you showed me
an alligator
rogues gallery of alligators and tell me to say which one that was in Crawl. I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So it's like for iconography, it's like, okay, so it's just a fucking like there's not one with like a gnarly there's no like gnarly facial scar or
So it's interesting that you brought up the gnarly facial scar thing. Aja just wanted them to look like gators. He didn't want the gators to be out for revenge. One of them had a scar and was now mad at people or something. He wanted
I want
them to
that.
look like
I
gators.
want that.
That's what Sam Raimi wanted. The producer, Sam Raimi was like, I wanted to have like the one-eyed gator who hated humans.
Hated humankind.
Aja did not, and Sam Raimi thinks that Aja made the right decision making.
Yeah, sure.
Going his
It would have
way.
been different, completely different.
It would have been very different, and it is very Sam Raimi to want that type of thing. You
Right.
know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
Absolutely.
So 2 and 2, 4.
Sure.
I'll give it a 4.
Yeah. That
I'm
sounds
cool with that.
Should it have a sequel, and what is your sequel? I'd be down to watch another Gator Flood movie.
Crawl 2. It's set at a pediatric hospital. So it's a bunch of babies learning how to crawl against a bunch of a bunch of
I want
gators.
the one that Aja said where it's that whole time it's like Sugar's perspective of this movie, so he's getting into all sorts of stuff while they're trapped in the basement.
Rapscallion.
Nice.
I also like what Brian said, the Tremors thing, make it a town. Everybody's stuck in their different places with the gators.
That would be great. Because there's all those like weird suburb makeup.
That's what happens next. I mean, because like the storm goes away.
Yeah.
People are trapped out there, and now it continues.
The hurricane goes to
storm.
storm.
Yeah, so they're rescued. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But gator flooding, I'm here for. Make it fun. And throw us a reason for the gators eating people next time, so that these guys can be like, okay. Would you buy the soundtrack or score on vinyl? Couldn't tell you what happened.
No.
Is anything action figure worthy? More bust worthy? Like I'd take her in the nest with the gator jumping on her arm or something. God, yeah. There's cool moments or shots, but like I don't want a Haley action figure.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
What merch promo item would you want from the film?
The ATM machine.
Oh, as a merch.
As a merch
prop. As a prop. I'll take one of the boats as a prop. One of those little boats, the police boat. I'll take that one.
With the prop?
I take the dad's ripped off
the
arm.
Prop.
Because I mean they had to use a few of them.
Oh yeah.
So.
Definitely.
Yeah, and the one that bends back that shoots blood is a particularly cool one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always tend to go that direction as well. Some sort of severed limb. I'll take the real gator, or not the real, but they did make a few gator head puppets.
I want
things.
the Green Man suit.
The Green Boy suit. And midnight showing, I'm gonna
throw live baby gators.
What the gators do, the University of Florida Gators, how they do the chomp with their arms. I'll be doing that a lot, I think, during the movie. Yeah, throw some live baby gators at the screen. Maybe some eggs during the one scene. What you really need is, I want a 4D experience where the theater slowly fills with water.
I was just saying, it should be set in a pool.
Nice.
Like,
pool screening.
A pool screening would be
pool screening.
And you could get like fake, everybody's on gator floats, get some gator toys to toss in, all that fun stuff. That I want to do.
Nice. Why they should have been doing that like
the Chuddle Fest pool party.
Yes, we'll do that at Chuddle Fest. We'll figure out how to make that happen at one of the Chuddle Fests.
I'm here for it.
Pool themed, like
they just tore down that place, that shitty hotel we stayed at.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna 2025 Chuddle Fest is coming. We'll figure out. I don't know if we'll have the pool themed one there yet, but we can have a whole like pool themed night of mishap.
Horror movies. Yeah. Horror movies would be fun to watch in water.
Maybe we could set us a genre. Set the next genre. Horror movie, and specifically not what's set in water.
Wet horror movies.
Wet horror.
Wet ass horror movies.
Wet ass horror.
Whatever that means to you.
Wah. W-A-H.
Well, it's at Chuddle Fest, so we do the programming. We'll each pick one. Mine will be crawl.
Wet ass horror.
All right. And do you guys have a popcorn bucket?
Besides, like, you just
make a gator thing.
Gator head or something. Gator thing.
All right. Great.
I only want your fingers.
Should we all, cut our fingers open and bleed on it?
Can you wrap your fingers around this?
I'll take a Voorhees burger and a side of Jason's fingers.
Show them.
On this show, we use a rating scale of 0 to 5 fingers. Each finger represents a different quality out of a movie. You can feed half a finger to a gator, no finger to a gator, full finger to a gator. These ratings are intended to be subjective on how we feel about a movie. It does not matter if the movie is objectively good or bad. I want to save myself for last, so eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Brian, you go.
It's time for me to go. Engaging. I'll probably give it a 0.75 for engaging. I was pretty engaged through most of it. I do like the fact that it's like a clean hour 30 about, so that helps with it.
Just under.
Dicky, probably maybe like a 0.5. I don't know how. I'm going to remember some like gator attacks, but I don't know if I'm going to remember or think about a lot of the details to this one. T-shirtable, that one's tough because I feel like there is a lot of cool imagery and stuff like that, but like I don't know how much I want the crawl T-shirt. So maybe like a point. I'll give it a 0.5 for now. I'll marinate on that. Cockles can get a 0.75. Why not give it that? Because for the most part, everything for about maybe except for about 2.25% of it. I don't know. That little factor.
Yeah.
You're here for.
Yeah. Rewatchable. Let's give it a 0.5 as well. Because that puts me at a 3, and I think that's good. That actually feels a little high from when I first came off of it because of how hung up I was. But through the art of conversation, I'm letting go of that, I guess, a little bit and just enjoyed it. So 3 sounds good.
Cool.
Roosy
Pooski. Later,
it's gonna sound a little bit like an echo chamber. Engaging is gonna get a 0.75 for sure. I feel that some of the scenes, the only time I was disengaged, honestly, was certain parts of the crawl space scene where I was like, I disengaged because I didn't know where in the crawl space underneath the house, like. It's super confused.
So
it's like
muddy
where they are and stuff like that.
Size of it
so like part of me automatically just autopiloted checked out until I could figure out what the next thing was supposed to happen down there. Sticky, same. I think Sticky's going to get a 0.75 for me. It's not a full point because I feel that I'm going to forget something major in this movie, but God damn, just the group mauling of that cop with his head getting ripped off. Like there are some for real sticky scenes, in particular some gator attack scenes that I just they're great. They're great scenes. T-shirtable, man, T-shirtable's going to get a 0.5. It's like, cause I think there's some great imagery in this. I just don't know what kind of imagery I'm going to wear from it. You know what I mean? Where like, I almost feel like it would have to be like the 0.5 for me is that like this shirt has to be almost super outlandish. Like I would love a crawl t-shirt that looks like an old 1950s Florida, like brochure
like
or something.
Visit
Yeah.
thing.
You know what I mean? Like it would have to be almost borderline hokey for me to wear it. Cockles is going to get, I think Cockles is going to get a 0.5 for me. I almost want to, man, that might be where I give it like a 0.75 in re-ratings because like I was hung up on just how aggressive the alligators were. I was in it to win it. Like I enjoyed it, but I feel like it also started depleting when I realized like, oh, crazy gator. Oh, crazy 2 gators. Oh, crazy fucking 30 of them for a lake of gators. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the like you're saying, like the Stretch Armstrong, like suspenders of disbelief got torn off for me at a certain point in this movie. I was enjoying it, but I'm also like, they're fucking like my logic brain is like, there's no way that all of them would be this aggressive the entire time. Like, unless there's some catalyst that's supposed to be going on, which obviously I didn't read on, you know?
Hurricane, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, no, absolutely.
And then rewatchable, I think rewatchable is gonna get a 0.5, but that also is arguable because I live in Florida and we get hurricanes all the time, and I could see myself popping in this movie while prepping for a hurricane. Like, absolutely, yeah. I think that would be fucking hilarious to do that. You know what I mean?
I would if I could. My wife would. But yeah, I'm with you for sure. So that puts you at a 3 as well. Does that seem right?
Yeah.
All right. Moving along to myself. I really like this movie, so we'll see how it goes. I haven't rated it yet, scale wise. Engaging is going to be a 1. There's no moment that I'm not interested really in what's happening because I like the family dynamic, gator, hurricane, all of it. Good stuff. Sticky, no, probably give a 0.75. It's not that I've found myself thinking about this movie so much because I'd only seen it, in 2019, the one time. Other than, I like that movie, I should see it again. And when I did watch it, there was nothing like, I forgot about this. It's because it's fairly straightforward, they're trapped in a crawl space with a hurricane and gators, so there wasn't a whole lot to be like, I forgot about that.
Yeah, right.
T-shirtable is a full 1. I wouldn't get any shirt for this, but I would love to have a crawl shirt, and I think there's a lot of cool possibilities. Engaging is a full 1 or not engaging, we already did that. Cockles is a full 1 as well. Got the animal attack, which I love. Florida as fuck. Dumb, but not bad. If that makes
yes.
I don't know how to phrase that.
I know,
properly.
I totally understand what you're saying.
And then rewatchable, because I've only seen it once since 2019, even though I really enjoyed it, and I still really enjoyed it this time. I think I'll throw it a 0.5, which gives it a 4.25, which I thought I was going to come in at a 4 or a 4.5. So 4.25.
Yeah.
Feels right.
And I feel like this one, in particular, I will probably watch this a few more times, like once or twice before re-ratings. I feel like this is not absurd, but close enough to it that my score may actually rise, much like the waters
you might borrow
in this movie.
My suspenders on your next watches. Cool. So
the Coven has stuff to say. Tiger Snake Kate popped in. She said, I love this movie. I often rewatch on a rainy day. Gator emoji, heart emoji. I think it deserves a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that. And then Evan, our witchy brethren, popped in. He says, okie dokie. Engaging 1 broken gator egg. Sticky is a 0.5. I just watched it for the first time. I'm not sure how much will stick, other than seeing Haley continuously moving her mouth. T-shirtable 1, give me a giant gator with a hand in its mouth. Cockles 0.75. I feel the need to be an apex predator. Rewatchable 0.5. I'll check it out again at some point. I think that's a 3.75 fingers to the gators at the midnight showing. Throwing an ATM and a baby gator at the screen. Would I survive? Absolutely not. Evan doesn't think he's surviving this one.
All right,
and
fair. He hasn't grown up in Gatorland.
That's true. Hot Body Scotty popped in too. Engaging 1. This movie was extremely engaging. Top tier suspense. Sticky 1. I've only seen it once, but there are scenes that have stayed in my mind since. T-shirtable 0. I like alligators and crocodiles. There's no crocodiles in here, but thanks for the input on those, guys. I wish I could pet and hug them, but even so, I don't really see wearing a crawl shirt while I'm out on the town. Cockles 1. This definitely warms my crockles. Rewatchable 1. Even though I've only seen it once, I've always looked forward to watching it again. 4 fingers tickling the belly of my favorite gator.
Nice.
And then Kate popped in and said, oops, I forgot about your special rating system. I'll do better next time. It's
totally
fine.
Okay.
We want any ratings we can get. So thank you guys for that. And then with our Chuddle score, that's a 3.4.
All right, that's good.
Mm-hmm, yeah, not bad.
Right? Not too shabby. How does that sit with the rest of things here?
I real quick, I was not sure where you guys were going to fall on this. I figured you were either going to be closer to me in the 4 range or closer to like a 2.25 range. So I'm glad you were at least 3 or higher.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For what it is, it's an incredibly fun ride. Like, I feel like this would be a great a companion piece to, like, if I'm like, man, I just want some animal attack movies. Like, this would be a great one to throw into the mix. Like, I feel like this is a... And
that's... Sorry, I was just going to say, I like including our history for those reasons. Like, because I feel like because I had such low expectations going into it, it was a pleasant surprise.
Totally. Sure, of course.
Whereas, you guys know I had been wanting to cover it, so you probably had some expectations for it, one way or another.
Yeah, of course.
So 3.4. What else is around
Club
there?
Dread is a 3.4. Right above it, or let's go right below it. 3.3s. You got Chud, The Menu, and Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, and Friday the 13th, The New Blood, and Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. Are all 3.3.
This is a good company. This is all right.
Right above it, 3.5s. You got things like The Beyond, A Classic Horror Story, Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Rec 2, and New Year's Evil.
Evil.
Wow. Evil. Cool.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Well, that does it. I'm glad you gentlemen crawled with me through this time and relative dimension and crawl space.
Tardick.
We did it. We did our thing. We chuddled the movie. We chuddled Crawl. I'm very glad to have revisited it. And it's a good one. I'm so lost. Sorry, guys. Follow Chuddle the Pod on Instagram, Slasher, Facebook, Threads. Stay up to date on the podcast. Follow at Ross Purvis on Instagram if you want to see his tattoos or buy some of his art. Or if you're visiting Disney, why don't you hit him up and get tattooed? Or Universal, or any of those things.
So if you're in Orlando.
Look.
Yes, if you find yourself in the area.
Check out Primrose Tattoo. I'll be there. I'll do some horror tats on you.
That's right. Primrose Tattoo-parlor.com.
That's right.
Yes.
It's in the .com.
You can follow me, Chuddle the Sam, and Chuddle the Brian with a Y on Letterboxd. Why? If you have any interest in seeing what movies we're watching. Jump in our Discord. We'd love to have you there because
we
like hanging out in there, and it's a fun space. You can participate in the show, be a part of the Chuddle community. Just to make all that easy for you, there's a link to it in the show description. You can go in and click on it. That was us chuddling Crawl. And then until next time, avoid the time loop.